When you look at all the public speakers that there have been in history, a lot of them fought for equality and the rights of people below them. One of the famous, like Martin Luther King or like JFK, all of them are like household names. But there's one that a lot of people don't know about, and it's somebody who fought for the people who are poor. Like he talked about sharing the wealth. And that is why today I have the incredible opportunity to introduce you to the Every Man a King speech by Huey Long. It's a man who preached the sharing of wealth and eventually caused his assassination. I'll briefly talk about what issues in his speech are important that still apply today, why him and why this speech, and what modern scholars are saying about this speech and why it's so important. First, let's look at how he got, or where it stands today. According to Cuthbert and Welch, Long was one of the few people that actually stood up for the poor. He had a lot of enemies, a lot of rich enemies because of this. And as he rose further through the ranks of the political system, he was more and more hated by others. And eventually FDR even said he was one of the two most important people of the time, which was like 1930s. And this still applies today because if you look at huge corporations like Walmart, they're people that own, like 5 people own the entire, like 90% of the United States. And it's just gotten worse and worse. And I think that a lot of it's covered up, like his speech is covered up because they don't want that to happen. And they don't want this public outcry of like sharing the wealth, because I don't think they want to keep what they have. He had overcome a lot of adversity. Like he wasn't a guy that just started out rich, and he wasn't really rich when he died either. He had a poor farmer family. He rose up, went to Tulane University, got a degree in law, became the governor of Louisiana, and then he ran for Senate, won that with a vast majority. And then once he actually tried to run for president, that's when he was assassinated by one of his adversaries, son-in-laws. And he was only like 35 when he died. Long is perfect for this Every Man a King speech because all the things I said before about his poor farmers, Tulane in Oklahoma. And according to Byrd, he was a highly successful politician. He could get audience behind him that would actually loathe everything he said, and the people that were against him, they would loathe what he said, but they would also agree with him, and they actually hated him more for it. And Hogan and Williams attribute his power to how he protected himself and carried himself in the public eye. His art of persuasion, his ability to read audiences, and his power in his voice is something that a lot of scholars today have said is really admirable. He even had his own radio talk show, which at the time was really important to reach these audiences. And during the Great Depression, the majority of the poor people in the United States they got left out a lot, and there were a lot of like food lines and a lot of people who had no jobs, no steady income, and he actually stood up for them, and he got a lot of power for that. So he was, according to Hogan Williams, he was also an excellent speaker. He was he had like an electric quality about him, which drew people in. And the way he used his words was also like really powerful. And he even got the nickname the Kingfish because he considered himself a small fish in the like general political spectrum, but he was a kingfish in his home in Louisiana. In summary, Mr. Long has become a very influential man of his time. Most of the things that he discussed in the past still apply today. He has become a strong example of the American dream. and is a pioneer of the art of public speaking. And when we think of equality in the United States, we don't often discuss how much power the rich have over the poor. We remember all these significant people, but we don't know probably one of the most important. And that is why it's my great pleasure to introduce Every Man a Speech by Huey Long.